What if your worst day was just the beginning of your greatest story? Imagine waking up one morning, thinking it's just another ordinary day, only to find that everything you know is about to change. Sometimes, the moments that break us are the very moments that shape us into who we're meant to become. Life has a way of turning our pain into purpose, our setbacks into setups for something greater. The story of Joseph is a powerful reminder that even when life seems unfair, there's a bigger picture unfolding, one that we might not see yet, but one that's being carefully woven together. Joseph was only 17, a dreamer in a colorful robe, loved deeply by his father Jacob, but resented by his brothers. He was the youngest, the favored son, and his father's affection was obvious. Jacob gifted Joseph a beautiful multicolored coat, a symbol of love, but also a source of envy. Joseph's dreams were bold and mysterious. He saw visions of greatness, of sheaves bowing down, of stars and the sun and moon honoring him. To his brothers, these dreams sounded like arrogance. To Joseph, they were glimpses of a destiny he didn't yet understand. He walked among his brothers, perhaps unaware of the storm brewing in their hearts, his robe a constant reminder of the divide between them. One day, their jealousy boiled over. The brothers, unable to bear Joseph's dreams and their father's favoritism any longer, plotted against him. They ambushed him in the fields, tore off his precious robe, and threw him into a deep, dark pit. Alone and terrified, Joseph's cries echoed off the stone walls. But the betrayal didn't end there. When a caravan of traders passed by, the brothers sold Joseph as a slave, sending him far from home to the land of Egypt. In a single day, Joseph lost his family, his freedom, and the life he knew. The dreams that once filled him with hope now seemed shattered, replaced by fear and uncertainty. Joseph lost everything. But even in the darkness, when all seemed lost, God was with him. Alone in a foreign land, Joseph faced challenges he never imagined. He was sold to Potiphar, an Egyptian official, and forced to serve as a slave. Yet Joseph's character and faith shone through. He worked diligently, earning the trust of his master. But just as things began to improve, he was falsely accused of a crime he didn't commit and thrown into prison. The walls of the cell closed in, and hope seemed distant. Yet Joseph never let go of his faith. He prayed, he waited, and he trusted that God had not abandoned him, even when the world had. In Egypt, Joseph worked hard, but was wrongly accused and thrown into prison. The injustice was crushing, but Joseph's spirit remained unbroken. He could have given in to bitterness or despair, but instead he chose to serve others, even in captivity. He became known for his wisdom and integrity, and soon he was put in charge of the other prisoners. Joseph's journey was marked by hardship, but also by resilience. Each setback was a test, each trial a lesson, preparing him for something greater than he could imagine. Still, he clung to hope. Joseph's gift for interpreting dreams became his lifeline. When two fellow prisoners were troubled by mysterious dreams, Joseph listened and offered interpretations that proved true. Word of his abilities spread, and one day, Pharaoh himself was plagued by dreams no one could explain. Joseph was summoned from the depths of the prison to stand before the most powerful man in Egypt. With humility and faith, Joseph interpreted Pharaoh's dreams, revealing a coming famine and a plan to save the nation. In that moment, Joseph's years of suffering found purpose. His faithfulness in the small things prepared him for a destiny beyond his wildest dreams. In one dramatic turn, Joseph rose from prisoner to governor, second only to Pharaoh. He was given authority over all of Egypt, entrusted with the task of storing grain and preparing for the years of famine. The boy who was once cast aside became the man who would save nations. Joseph's wisdom and leadership brought hope to a land in crisis. He wore new robes now, not just of many colors, but of honor and responsibility. The journey from the pit to the palace was long and painful, but every step was part of a greater plan. Years later, famine struck. The world was hungry, and people from distant lands came to Egypt seeking food. Among them were Joseph's own brothers, desperate and weary, unaware that the powerful governor before them was the brother they had betrayed. They bowed before him, just as Joseph's dreams had foretold years before. The moment was heavy with emotion. Memories of pain, betrayal, and longing all colliding in the palace halls. Joseph recognized his brothers, but they did not recognize him. He faced a choice, to seek revenge or to offer mercy. Joseph could have chosen revenge, but he chose forgiveness. He revealed his identity to his brothers, and instead of anger, he embraced them with tears. The wounds of the past were deep, but Joseph's heart was deeper still. He saw that what his brothers meant for harm, God had used for good. He offered them food, shelter, and a new beginning. In that moment, Joseph's story became one of redemption, not just for himself, but for his entire family. Forgiveness broke the cycle of pain and opened the door to healing. "You meant evil against me, but God meant it for good," Joseph said, his heart full of grace. These words echo through history, reminding us that even when others hurt us, there is a greater purpose at work. Joseph's faith allowed him to see beyond the pain to the promise. He understood that every trial, every betrayal, every lonely night in the pit or prison was leading him to this moment of reconciliation. His story teaches us that forgiveness is not weakness, but strength. The power to turn wounds into wisdom and scars into stories of hope. So, when life feels hopeless, remember Joseph. Remember that the darkest nights can give birth to the brightest mornings. When you feel forgotten, abandoned, or misunderstood, know that you are not alone. Joseph's journey was filled with uncertainty, but he never lost sight of the dreams God placed in his heart. He trusted that every setback was a setup for something greater. His faith carried him through the valleys and lifted him to the mountaintops. Your story, too, is still being written. Even in the darkest pit, your story isn't over. The moments that seem like endings are often just new beginnings in disguise. Joseph's life reminds us that hope can be found in the most unlikely places, and that no pit is too deep for God's love to reach. When you look up from your own struggles, you may find that the light is closer than you think. Hold on to hope, even when it's hard. Trust that your pain has a purpose, and that your dreams are not forgotten. God may be planting a dream He'll raise in His perfect time. Like seeds buried in the soil, our dreams may seem hidden for a season, but with patience and faith, they will grow and flourish. Joseph's journey from the pit to the palace was not easy, but it was worth it. Your journey too is unfolding. One step, one day, one act of faith at a time. Trust the process, embrace the lessons, and believe that your greatest story is still ahead.